And let's give it a minute. Let's get some people back in here. I hope we don't have to break again before we're finished with this. So come on in. Come on in. We're live. We're over here. I am waiting on you. Queuing up, queuing up, waiting on you and getting ready. Come on in, lovely Aneka. Thank you for being here. Lovely Aneka is in the building with us this morning. Kaitaja Empress is back. Wayne Nathan is back. Lady J is back. Andrew Skinner. Renegade Sound, big up yourself. Perlis123 is back. Naisha is back. Grace James is back. Grace James, thank you for being here. Senior Sexy. Jerome Pearson is in the house. First Responder is here. Lil Red Gucci 2 is back. Thank you for being here. King Biggs, Dea, Black Eagle, Dorothy T. All right, we got a few people in. We could go ahead and start before we were rudely interrupted by this cheap ass service that they give. Asked if she wanted the escort to stop. She said she raised her hand. Da 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 da. Sex act of masturbating before. Bringing us back to where we left off at. Okay. They were weekly, became dependent on where we were. If the escorts ejaculated too early, Diddy wouldn't pay him. He would cut the money in half. He would only pay. Alleged abuse was not just sexual; it was psychological as well. And yep, she's making that known. I just knew I had to get out. I grabbed my stuff. That's the weekend they were fighting. Day two. Okay. So okay, let's back it up right here because I think this is where things started to go bad, right? Shout out to the people who made it back so far and others who will be coming in after, but they'll be a bit late. So we're going to back it up a little bit just so give a few more people a chance to hear. All right. So Cassie resumed her testimony about the 2016 attack on her second day on the stand, where she said that there was a vase and the vase or vase was thrown at her. Um, and I just remember it coming at me, and I didn't get hit. And I remember it hitting the wall, and he was yelling at me, and he threw it at me. And as the video played, she was seen biting her lip and taking deep breaths while she was sipping some water on the stand. The court was also shown images with where she had a black eye and busted lip in the aftermath of what had happened in that encounter in that hotel that day. Then she told a story about how her friend Kerry Morgan called the cops after seeing the state that she was in, prompting a flurry of angry text messages from Diddy. She first texted him and said, I have a premiere for the biggest thing I've ever done in my life on Monday. You are sick for thinking it's okay to do that, what you've done. Please stay far away from me. And then he then texted back to her, stated that, hey, I'm about to get arrested. Please answer your calls, answer your phone. She didn't answer. A next text message comes in. It says, if you don't pick up, you will never hear my voice again. Damn, I will never ignore your calls. Then she said, when the police arrived, I was just too afraid to talk to them. What happened when they arrived? She said, I answered a couple of questions, but when they wanted me to say who I was talking about, who had done this to me, I wouldn't say it. So they left. In that moment, I didn't want to hurt him that way. Just too much going on. It was a lot for me in that moment. I wasn't ready. Earlier in the testimony, she described how she stopped fighting. She stopped fighting back during these alleged assaults at the risk of angering Diddy even further. She said, I learned that it could escalate when I fight back. It would escalate more and make it worse for myself. Sometimes it would work. It would slow him down and he would stop. But other times, it would make him more violent, more stronger, make him push me harder, she went on to say. Cassie then described another altercation where she was left in with a deep gash that required surgical treatment after allegedly being attacked by Diddy after he found her sleeping on a sofa. When Sean came in, I was asleep, and then it was commotion. Him yelling at us. Deontay and Maya, my two friends, they jumped on Sean's back because he was trying to attack me. So we ended up in the living room and then in the master bedroom, and they were still jumping on his back when he threw me down and I cut my eyebrow on the corner of my bed. It was a Sunday, so nothing was open, and Sean had his securities bring me to a plastic surgeon's office to suture it. She claimed that Diddy then told her that there was a freak off going on in the Hamptons that was taking place with an escort by the name of Dave. And this is when I met Dave. At that time, we were taking GHB, a drug. On G, when you're on G, you can go into a G hole. And I blacked out. So she went to the Hamptons. She went to the freak off. She was on G, right? And she blacked out. And when I woke up, I was nude in the shower. And Dave, the escort, and Sean Diddy, they were freaking out outside of the bath. She also identified a host of other male escorts that were used during these freak-offs from photographs that were presented in binders. So the prosecution has a binder full of these pictures of these guys that were used. And they're asking her, do you recognize this one? Do you recognize this one? Do you recognize this one? And she's saying yes, yes, yes. She described how Diddy encouraged her to recruit these men. They asked her, who reached out to the escorts? Prosecutor Emily Ann Johnson asked Cassie, who was the one that reached out to the escorts? Cassie replied, me, I did. Based on who Sean is, I didn't want to put him in that position. It was expected of me. The singer was also questioned further about the use of drugs during these freak-offs. Text messages were shown to the jury where Diddy appeared to ask Cassie not to use ketamine, known as CAPE, as it would slow the experience down. You know, his message to her said, you know, we have to have a proper FO without no K. I need to get it out my head. I hate K. So you let me know when. The message read. Johnson, the prosecutor, asked Cassie again, what was Diddy saying about K? We need to have a proper FO without no K. She replied and said, he was saying that it took time out of the freak-offs. It's a drug, ketamine, shortened for K. It was my preferred drug because it was very disassociative and you can go into something that's called a K hole where you're not present in the moment. You're just high and you're not really doing any actions, she said. When they asked her if there were anything that she would avoid doing, she said, I was really against kissing. I just felt that that was just too intimate, but still, it happened anyways. She told the courts that Diddy would request for these freak-offs more and more and more and more. And then the freak-offs became relentless. They became like a full-time job. Even led him to derailing plans that she had set up to celebrate her 29th birthday. She said, I wanted to go to a club that's called the Blind Dragon and do karaoke with my friends. After dinner, we started to head towards that way, but Sean let me know then that he wanted me to do a freak off instead. And I was like, not now. I want to celebrate my birthday. So we ended up getting to the Blind Dragon where I wanted to go. But the whole time he just kept pulling me away from my friends. And so I left. And I told him I wanted to stay out and celebrate with my friends. I just didn't want to have the burden of doing that, the freak off at the end of the night. I just want to stay out, have fun with my girls, and go home and fall asleep kind of thing. So he kept pulling at me though, kept pulling at me at times. So I just gave up and I just went to the freak off with him. She testified that Diddy then used videos of those orgies to blackmail her into performing more. When she would mention, the prosecutor Johnson asked her, when would Sean mention these types of videos? And she said, when he was angry about something or when he really wanted me to fear him. When he was upset about something, it was a pretty common thing. One time I dated someone else, and that was what it was all about. I'm going to put out 2 embarrassing videos on you. He just wanted to hurt me. What did he say? The prosecutor asked her. She repeated that he was going to release these videos and embarrass me, put my career in jeopardy. She said that he would be mad enough to put them out and then I would have to answer to my mother. Man, I feared for my career. I feared for my family. Just embarrassing, and it's horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone. What did Sean say to you about the impact? He said that it could ruin everything that I had worked for and make me look like a slut. I'd be ashamed. I wasn't supposed to be on those videos. I didn't want to be in them. She recounted then an incident following the Cannes Music Festival where Diddy allegedly kicked her off of a yacht and then withheld her possessions, including her passport. She alleges that he then blackmailed her with the videos on the way back to New York. We hadn't spoken since the incident where he had kicked me off of the yacht. I'm confused. Now, here we were sitting together. He would grab my leg and he would squeeze my thigh as tightly as he could. And I was wearing a beaded dress, so it was really painful. We flew on a commercial flight to New York from Athens. I had a seat that I had traded with someone else. I didn't want to sit next to Sean, and he switched with the person, and we ended up riding together. Then he pulled up videos, freak off videos on the plane. And I thought that I had deleted them. And he was just playing them for me on the flight back to New York. When she was asked how it left her feeling, she said, I couldn't have felt any worse. Also, I was scared. I had just got my passport back and I felt trapped. How do you get out of a situation when somebody is And then she trailed off right there. And then she said, I felt trapped. Cassie also provided graphic details about the physical toll that these freak-offs took on her body. And she said, quote unquote, I had a lot of stomach issues, gastrointestinal issues from taking drugs, she told the courts. She said, I would get frequent UTIs, that's urinary tract infections. If you've had one of those, you know how painful that is. When we were having frequent freak offs, sometimes they were just back to back to back, and I couldn't get rid of it. And I was doing the freak off with an infection. She said that Cipro or Cipro, which is an antibiotic medicine, it didn't work anymore. It was just a mess, and it was really painful. Occasionally, I'd even get sores on my tongue from the freak offs, from the substances I was using, and just from a lot of friction in my mouth, from oral sex. Also, from having my mouth on things like the oils and the astroglides, the lubricants and stuff. Cassie then recalled the exhaustion that she felt after each sex session. She said, I felt so tired, achy, really dehydrated because you're up for so long, not really eating so much, just empty. She said of her emotional state afterwards, I just felt empty, especially if we didn't continue. I didn't stay with him. Especially if Diddy didn't, like, if she did the intercourse with the guys when it was done, she said especially if Diddy didn't continue, like, do it with her after, because she is doing it to please him, right? But if he not enjoying it, like getting in with her after they're done with her, she said she would just leave. See, there are times in this where you say, oh shit, so she had the option to leave. Like, if there were times where he wouldn't jump in or he wouldn't do it with her, he would just let her do it. This is gonna all come full circle. Y'all need to pay attention. I know a lot of people in their feelings and they're going off, and I know a lot of women are triggered because the Dutty boy John that you used to date that did you this way, and you want revenge for all your exes right now, or it's just this thing where women side with women because they understand hurt or all this. You got to remember, man, your situation is not everybody else's situation, and these are not one size fit all situations. Some people really have an agenda, and other people are really getting hurt, right? So it's not every situation you see, it's, oh, she's one of the victims too, getting hurt too. It's kind of like, yes, Nans, you have to separate your emotional and your personal story from this so you can look at it with a clear view. Now, she said, they asked about her emotional state. They asked about her physical state. How would you feel after? She said, tired, achy. You've been up for so long and you're not really eating so much and all that. And then they asked about her emotional state after the freak offs. And she said that especially, she added that her emotional state was just feeling empty, especially if we didn't continue. I didn't stay with him. She would just leave. She described an alleged attack next by Diddy after following a nightclub where it was so severe it left her hiding for a week. He attacked her after they had went to a nightclub in LA, and it was so severe it had her go into hiding for a week. She said the altercation began after he called me a slut or a bitch or something, and I was drunk, so I punched him in his face in the back of the car. Remember what the dude from the singing group said? He said, he was like, listen, I don't like that guy because he stole our publishing. We didn't understand the business. I think he robbed us. Not think, he did. And you know, our hard work and all that. But we were around when Cassie was around. Matter of fact, we were there before her. She came into the fold after her, and they were like, trust me, Cassie used to be breaking shit up, you know, punch Diddy in his face out the blue, even in meetings where we would have meetings to figure out what project should go next or whatever. If she was pissed off about something, everybody in the room would know. So they would both get violent with each other. Here's Cassie's own admission, right? He called her a name. She don't remember what it is. It was like a slut or a bitch or something like that. They were on their way leaving a nightclub in LA, and she said she was drunk. So she punched him in his face in the back of the car. His whole demeanor just switched over. His eyes went black. We were in the Escalade, but the two sitting in the middle, we had a friend that was following us back to the house. After I punched him, he attacked me, and I was underneath the back seat trying to cover my face. Sean was actually stomping on my face with his foot. The ride back to the house was short, but the whole ride was a fight until we got there. It was probably about 10 minutes up the hill. I was being, I had never experienced anything like that, where I was getting really, really badly beaten. The car was going back to Sean's house that he was renting. I took off running, and I started running down the street, and the security caught up with me, and then I was brought back to the house. I finally saw my face. I just didn't look at myself at all after that. Just knots and bleeding. I think I was vomiting when he came in. The person he switched over to was now gone, and the regular him was back, and he was freaking out at the sight of my face. She described how she then fled to the London hotel to recuperate from her injuries. So this went from a party in LA, where coming back off of a good night of partying, some argument developed in the back of a Escalade, and he calls her bitch or whore or something, and she punches him in the face, and he starts beating her. And then this is LA, right? Her testimony like is all over the place. Like if you pay attention to it, she gives bits and pieces of different place and time, and you gotta like string it together. And I'm making an example out of it right now just to show you. So we go from that, and then suddenly we're in London. And I'm like, how did we get from there to there? He had switched over now to his regular self. The person he had switched to was now gone, and he was freaking out at the sight, as if he didn't realize what he did, right? She described how she then fled to the London hotel. Or is there a, you can meet me at the London? I think there's a hotel in California called the London then, right? Must be. To recuperate after her injuries. She said, I understood Sean's capabilities. I understood his access to guns. The threats that he made prior to that, I was privy. She recalled another incident following a party at Prince's house, which ended in another fight. He beat me up. He was throwing luggage at me, calling me all kinds of names, adding that she was left with bruises on her head from this fight also. Diddy also became violent after he discovered that I was dating the rapper Scott Mescudi, alias Kid Cudi. Y'all notice that throughout their relationship, by her own account, that she was also dating other people while still going to these freak offs with him and still partying with Diddy, right? Right. That's why. So the time where she said I was dating this other guy, and then the he kept bringing up I'm a whore, and he got the videos to prove it, and he's gonna release some videos on me, and then fast forward down the road further, now I'm dating Kid Cudi. She said, I remember him pulling a wine bottle opener and putting it between his fingers and lounging at me with it. His eyes blacked out. He was super angry, and I just got out of there. Oh, she left again. I just got out of there. She said she fled to Miss Cody's house, which is Kid Cudi's house. But eventually, she left and she returned back to Diddy so that they can talk it out. Why didn't you just stay with Cudi? Why didn't you say, please help me? I don't want to go. He'll hurt me. You left, you went to the guy's house you were dating, and then you left him and went back to who you thought was angry at you and would hurt you so y'all could talk it out. When I was leaving to go to Cudi's house, he kicked me in the back on my way out the door. So I had this big bruise on my back. I fell to the floor, and then I got up and I left. I had bruises in other places on my body. I remember that one because he kicked me with the bottom of his foot in my back. But his fury did not end there. He then threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car because he knew who she was seeing. He mentioned to me that when we were out of the country, that Scott's car would be blown up. She said she eventually decided to just break the relationship off with Kid Cudi because she feared for both her safety and for his safety as well. She then told the courts about other alleged violent incidents in Jamaica in 2013 and at an after party at Diddy's house in 2015. I was talking to a manager, and Sean just tapped me on the shoulder and told me to come to the next room. And I went, and then he beat me up in the next room in the 2015 incident. He punched me, he kicked me. I was trying to run away. I remember going into the toilet, and I ended up under the toilet trying to cover myself while he was trying to kick me. Live on the air with SouFlo. Good morning.
Blessed flow. Me here go through this case. I'm really want ask a question in the boss. What about this case is not about for them toxic relationship?
Everything about the case is
toxic.
that. Yeah, that's all it is. Everything about the case is that. But maybe shouldn't even answer the call still, come. Do you want to read through everything before we get into phone calls and discussions? Because it's quite lengthy, you know. I just want everybody without a break to hear everything and make them own decisions, and then we talk.
All right, now hold you. Me call back when you're done.
Manners and respect.
Blessed.
All right. She claimed that Diddy told her to put on more makeup to hide her injuries from his son, right? His son couldn't see me like that. And I should put more makeup on. He can't see the bruises on your face, he said. Go put on some more makeup. She became emotional as she described how Diddy allegedly R-A-P-E-D her took it following the end of their relationship in 2018. He just eyes black again, blacked out, wasn't himself. Every time she described him as blacked out, turned into somebody else, she said his eyes turned black. She goes, eyes black again, wasn't himself. He was laughing. All the things that were happening before were not there. Just somebody taking something from you without. I think she meant to say without you giving consent, but she didn't finish the sentence. She just stopped right there. She's on the stand. She's getting emotional. She explained now that she began to cry, but Diddy didn't stop. He just continued. He continued and he finished and he ejaculated inside of me and he got up and he just left. Again, here's another opportunity right here. Walk my ass straight to the police station. I just got raped. You got raped. We have to do a rape kit. Sean P. Diddy Combs just raped me. Okay. Rape kit comes back. There you have it. Prison. I mean, I see so many chances for it to. You know what? Let me keep going. She says, I didn't want to be alive anymore at this point. I was shooting a video with another music artist, and I just kept having these terrible flashbacks. I went home, and it was super, super late this particular day. My kids were asleep, and I remember telling my husband, I said, you can do this without me. You don't need me anymore. I couldn't take the pain I was in anymore. So I tried to walk out the door and walk out into traffic. But my husband wouldn't let me do it. And then she started to cry on the stand. She revealed that she settled the lawsuit with Diddy for $20 million. Remember, we didn't know how much Cassie got for this lawsuit? All we know that it was settled. She said, we settled the lawsuit for $20 million last year in 24 hours. But the reason why I decided to testify is because I can't carry this anymore. And then she started crying again. She said, I can't carry the shame. I can't carry the guilt. I can't carry the way I was guided to treat people like they were disposable. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And I'm here to do the right thing. That amounts to all of Cassie's testimony that day. First person said, damn, he became violent after he realized that you were dating Scott Mescudi. I'm confused. So let me get this straight. So she was dating someone else while she was still doing it with Diddy? Yes, that's what she said. So I don't understand the I couldn't leave thing, right? Another person says, man, she could have gone to the police at this point. Matter of fact, the first time he threatened to blackmail her, she should have went straight to the police. This says a lot about her character. Another person says, maybe she was terrified. She knows what happens to people when they step on Diddy's toes. People keep saying that. But what happened to who when they step on Diddy's toes? Nobody is bigger than the law, especially in the United States of America. Listen, I have so much confidence in the law in the United States of America that that's one thing I can say is if you go to them, a woman, about something like this, you best believe his whole world would be crumbling down. And if I wanted that to stop because I had found myself in a drug-induced, binging kind of, I would have definitely told on his ass. I would have told on him. Hold on, let me get my phone. I left my phone out there, right? And there is a there are other females who were around then who are in female singing groups, and one of them did an interview yesterday, and I think I wanted you to hear a part of that interview. Let me grab my phone real quick. It ain't bigger than the law. I see Kaitai Jai Empress says it's bigger than the law. It ain't bigger than the law. It's not. None of them are bigger than the law. But these are, I'm telling y'all, there are artists who were around at the time, right? And they're going to be testifying as well, some of them. And some of them are out here doing interviews. And one of them said yesterday, you know, I'm still trying to figure out how she came to the conclusion or to this part where she was like held captive and not allowed to leave and all this other stuff. Because I was around. Matter of fact, Cassie came around us and she learned a lot from us. So she can't figure out like where all this is coming from. But you know, y'all remember when Cat Williams said, P. Diddy be wanting to party. You just got to tell him no. I did. We were trying to figure out what the hell Cat Williams was talking about. That other actor, I forgot his name, Terrence says Diddy wanted me to, Terrence Howard did an interview recently, said Diddy wanted me to be his acting coach, right? He has respect for the way I command my art. So my agent set it up. I went over there, and the whole time he just sitting there looking at me like this. Then I'm trying to teach him how to act. He just sitting there looking at me like this. I'm thinking, okay, this is weird. Then he said, I want to hear your music because Terrence plays the piano. So he said, okay, I got up, I went over there, I was playing the piano, and he just sitting there looking at me like this again. So it kept getting weird every time I went to try to teach him how to act. So he said, I think my agent caught on to it. My agent said, hey, we got another booking for you for Diddy. He wants you to, come by. And I said, for what? Come by for what? Because when I go over there, I'm trying to teach him acting. He's not engaging. He's just sitting there staring at me like that. And my agent said, yeah, because he want to. I gotta laugh, man. He was making the moves. Man, listen, this is all kinds of ways of tragic, okay? All kinds of friggin' ways of tragic. Diddy. Anyway, I was trying to find her. But before we do that, though, I got so much stuff on my phone. But it's a singer from one of the popular groups that was under Diddy. She said she can't understand how Cassie got to this place where she's talking about how she was misled and how she was manipulated and how she couldn't leave and all this stuff, because we know Cassie, we all know her, and we know her as a party girl. She was like, Cassie the type that would give any nigga a lap dance. She loves her drugs, she loves to party, and she loves to have fun. And what I think is she developed a pretty expensive habit of a lifestyle that came with luxury stuff that she couldn't afford on her own. So she stayed around for, all that she thought was good. Now, here's the thing. None of us were there. So when people who were there are talking, we have to again subtract ourselves and view from the outside and listen to everybody who was there. because we were not there. That makes sense? That makes sense? Okay. There's a video. This is TMZ released a video. This is Diddy. So 2018. If Diddy is 55 now, we're 2025. This was him and Cassie's probably around their last encounter. Okay, this is them. This was released by TMZ. I don't know if this music has copyright infringement, but if it does, I'll have to take it out. So around the time they're doing time lapse, and they're okay. So what was the relationship around this time? Because she's claiming that she was raped and she didn't want any parts of him and all this, and then TMZ releases this video. Yes, King Biggs. I will vote for Donald Trump. Everybody louder, louder. I can hear you. For Donald Trump. I will vote. That's Cassie with the hat on. So this video was for the celebration of his 48th birthday, and that's how they were greeted at their arrival in Mexico. So run it back and do the math with the years. All right. Now, fast forward to Cassie finishes her testimony, and now Diddy's attorneys are getting at her, so to speak. And she is now being led to read out text messages between her and Diddy. So Cassie was pressed to read aloud her own explicit messages to her ex-boyfriend, Sean P. Diddy Combs, in federal court yesterday, including text messages that showed her expressing her desire for a drug-fueled group sex she previously testified left her traumatized. You know when people say, I got my receipts, I keep receipts. So the lawyers for Sean P. Diddy Combs, they sought to portray Cassie to the jury as a willing and eager participant in the music mogul's sexual lifestyle. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to federal sex trafficking charges and racketeering charges. His defense says that while he was violent, nothing he did mounted to a criminal enterprise, which that's the charges that he's under. Prosecutors said that this is what the prosecutors say, he exploited his status as a powerful musician or music executive to violently force Cassie and other women into these marathon encounters with sex workers that he calls freak-offs, which sometimes lasted for days. Diddy insists that all the sex was consensual He is also accused of using his entourage and his employees to facilitate illegal activities, including prostitution, related transportation, and coercion, which is a key element of this federal case. So, messages between Diddy and Cassie, both romantic and not so nice, were the focus of the fourth day of testimony in the Manhattan courthouse. The defense attorney, Estevao, Ana Estevao, she read what Diddy wrote while Cassie was asked to read her own messages that you see, this group of lawyers, they're not playing. That's a tactic. Have her read her own, because she the one that wrote it. We don't want to read it, and she'll be like, I don't remember saying that. I didn't write that. Let me see. Have her read it. I'm going to read Mr. Combs' part, and you're going to read your own part. Okay? And that's how they started off yesterday after she was finished with her testimony. Diddy is currently 45 years old. He was jailed September of last year, and he faces, now the numbers have changed. So now they're saying that he faces at least 15 years in prison if he is convicted. Now, while Cassie said that she felt compelled to participate in these freak-offs to keep Diddy happy, the defense attorney, Estevao, pointed to a message exchange where Cassie appeared excited about the sexual encounters and raised the idea of having one of her own. In the text message, she said she want to go have her own freak off, and she looked forward to the freak off that's coming up next. So in August of 2009, Combs asked when she wanted the next encounter to be, because it's up to her. And she replied, quote unquote, I'm always ready for a freak off. 2 days later, Cassie sent an explicit message, and he replied in eager anticipation. It goes along the lines of, I can't wait for you to play with my meow and that and all the other stuff. And she responded, he said, I can't wait to see you get that by them big and she said, me too. I just wanted to be uncontrollable. Yeah, me too. I just wanted to be uncontrollable. Later, however, she also sent other messages that she was frustrated with the state of their relationship and that she needed more from Diddy than just sex. Remember I told y'all, I said it before all this came out, right? I think I'm a good judge of certain things. I said that girl wanted everything from him. She probably really, really loved him for real. But sometimes you're in a relationship. People, listen, we grown people, man. Let's talk. Sometimes you're in a relationship and you're the only person in that damn relationship. And you're the only person that's in love. And you so in love with your partner don't give two shits about you. Your partner cares about what it is they can get from you, how you are servicing them in the moment, and in their mind, you are easily replaceable. You looking at your partner like they my everything, and I'll do anything to please them. I think that's how Cassie got rolled up into all this. You know what I mean? So she was willing to go above and beyond and do every and anything for this man. Where he at the other, it's easy to sell. It's easy to sell stuff to somebody when you actually have the private jet for real. You actually have the yacht for real. You actually have the mansions for real. You actually show bank accounts with more zeros than she could count for real. You actually are that guy that have a team of people around you for real. So she fell into all that. And he's like, yo, you used to a regular lifestyle. Let me show you how we live up here, because this is above. And she fell into it. So she was willing and ready and able and did and did and did. And then she started sending text messages like, I need more from you than just being some sex thing. The attorney also noted in July of 2013, there was one particular text message exchange where Cassie wrote to Diddy and said, I wish we could have FO'd before you left, using the initial FO for freak off. She is the one. He left. And she wrote him and said, I wish we could have had a freak off before you left. In a 2017 text message, again, Cassie wrote, I love our FOs when we both want it. I love our freak offs when we both want it. This was 2017. Their relationship ended in 2018. The lawyer asked Cassie on the stand, cross-examining now. The lawyer said, so explain that. Because, you said, you really didn't want to do these and you were traumatized. And so explain this. And she said, I would just say I love the FOs. Those were just words at this point. Those were just words at this point. Cassie complained at one point that the jurors were hearing the full she's in court, and in court she started complaining after this. She was like, God, the jurors are not hearing the full context of the message. You skipped over a lot of stuff. Diddy's attorneys then presented Cassie with sexual text messages that she sent right before the 2016 encounter at the Los Angeles hotel, where Diddy was caught on surveillance video kicking and dragging her in the hallway. Cassie said she wanted to get the encounter over with in order to keep Diddy happy and to avoid a scene ahead of her going to her movie premiere that she would attend a couple of days later. Esteval raised instances of Cassie's. Where's that? You're going to burn the house down. Jesus Christ. But look how God good to me though. You notice the house no burned down though. Apparently. Why you say that? Awa? That not gonna burn down the house. That just gonna warm up the house. Esteval, the attorney. See, y'all got it, man. Listen, Esteval raised instances of Cassie's anger with Diddy. Like, pointed out a couple of times where she was the one that, became angry and did stuff and he reacted to it. And her admitted jealousy over attention that he gave to other women, which goes in line with what that singer was saying. Like, she was super jealous and she wasn't afraid to like break shit up in the office. She was throwing and breaking expensive stuff. And she would haul up and punch him in his face too. Lovely and Nika, y'all laugh after me. We never burned down the house still. We're good. Fire Marshal Shakira saved the day. Cassie said that Diddy didn't want her seeing anyone else, but the same rules didn't apply for him. She then testified that after a few years with Diddy, she testified that, listen, right here, she testified that after a few years with Diddy, this is under cross-examination, after a few years with him, she wanted to be a bigger part of his life, but he wouldn't let her in. Their relationship lasted from 2007 to 2018. Didn't I say that before? Did I not say that before? She wanted to be a bigger part of his life. He wouldn't let her in. You know what it must have felt like for her to see him with other women, and next thing you know, they're having his children, and he's talking about marriage, and the baby is on magazine covers, and they're on TV as a couple. And who am I then? I'm just the girl that you hire big D ninjas to just run through in front of you. What type of shit is that? Can I get a little bit more than this? A matter of fact, what's going on with my music? We used to be in the studio. What happened? Now all I do for you is freak offs. You either gonna turn me into a star with my music, or you gonna wife me. And you could even do both. But damn, I'm not getting any of those anymore. You think somebody wouldn't be a bit jaded? A packed courtroom watched Cassie's testimony. The cross-examination did not have the combative tone of a stereotypical defense grilling, which is smart. You have a woman on the stand. She is damn 9 months pregnant almost, could drop a baby at any minute. The last thing you want to be is up there acting like you're badgering her and badgering her. So that's why they said, I'll read Mr. Combs' part of these messages, and you go ahead and read your part. Esteval, the attorney, spoke gently, and notice how they used a female to cross-examine her. Spoke gently, and she and Cassie seemed more like they were two friends that were chatting at times. You know, she's having that conversation with her. Cassie is now 38 years old. She's like, damn. She's 38 years old. She's in her third trimester of pregnancy with her third child. And, you know, they said she held up pretty well on the stand. She cried several times during the previous 2 days of testimony when it was her just testifying. But for the most part, under cross-examination, she remained composed, and she gave her answers like as a matter of factly. When she spoke about some of the most sensitive things, which should have made her cry, like how they made her cry the day before. You know, this time it was like, as a matter of factly. So um, as the explicit messages were read, Diddy was in the courtroom. He appeared relaxed at the defense table, sitting back with his hands folded and his legs crossed. The courtroom was packed with family and friends of Diddy's, with journalists, and then there was a row of spectators who were seated, whose seats were occupied by Cassie supporters, including her husband. During a break, Diddy stood at the table. He was huddled in with his lawyers, holding a pack of post-it notes in one hand, a pen in the other hand, and at one point he turned to the gallery and acknowledged a few of the reporters who were there as they were studying his demeanor, because you know the reporters are over there taking their own notes, right? He seemed angry, he was crying, he was hunched over, or he was relaxed or whatever. So he looked at them and he said, how y'all doing? His daughters, his twin daughters, they were not in the courtroom at this moment. The jurors leaned forward to their seats to follow along as the messages were played on a monitor. The text messages are being played in court on a monitor. So not only is somebody reading it for them to them, they can hear, but they also can read it for themselves. One woman shook her head as a particularly explicit message was shown. That's the message I want. Can't wait to see you get by big, and And she said, I can't wait too, or me too. And the lady in the jury box went, a man stared intensely at the screen, one of the jurors, pressing his thumb to his chin. Other jurors appeared curious and quizzical. Some were looking at Cassie, or they were jotting down notes. Now, while prosecutors have focused on Diddy's desire to see Cassie having intercourse with other men, she testified that she sometimes watched Diddy do it with other women too. But goddamn, I get some of this in my life, you know. But me no want nobody sue me. While prosecutors were focused on Combs' desires to see Cassie having sex with other men, because that's what the prosecution does. They're prosecuting Diddy. They have to make him look bad. This is what you did. You did all this. You had her do it. She testified under cross-examination that she sometimes watched him do it with other women. And then she'll become jealous. She said that he described it as, this is a part of our swingers lifestyle. You know, hold up. Now, Esteval, the defense attorney, asked Cassie directly whether she thought the freak-offs were related to the swingers lifestyle. In a sexual way, Cassie said, in a sexual way, nah, they're very different. They're very different. Cassie said on Tuesday that Combs was obsessed with a form of voyeurism where he was controlling the whole situation. The freak-offs, those took place in private, often in dark hotel rooms, unlike Diddy's very public parties that attracted A-list celebrities. She testified that she sometimes took IV fluids to recover from the encounters, and eventually she developed an opioid addiction because it made her feel numb afterwards. So she started taking these drugs and then she became addicted to them. That's an expensive habit. Cassie's testimony on cross-examination was in contrast to the previous day when she described the violence and the shame that accompanied her hundreds of freak-offs during her relationship with Diddy. Matter of fact, she said there might have been thousands. I'm pretty sure. Ask her to give a ballpark figure number. She said that would be impossible. So many happened, I lost track. Cassie, because it's been constantly over the years. You got to remember that Cassie testified that he raped her right when their relationship ended. I'm just thinking that was that last Juki Jammy, right? That she just threw that one in there too. And yes, it's confirmed. She settled for $20 million. Now, she settled for $20 million, but she admitted on the stand that they asked her, did you write a book? She said, yes, she wrote a book. And what were you going to do with it? And did you tell Sean about the book? Yes, she wrote a book and she approached Diddy with the book, telling him that she wanted $30 million from him. And if he didn't give it to her, she was going to publish her tell-all book. Is that not extortion? Is it? Help me out. Is that not extortion? Isn't that extortion? Come on now, everybody. Don't be all quiet at once. Is that not extortion? She said she wrote, yes, I wrote a book. And did Sean know about it? Yes, because I approached him and I told him I wanted $30 million. If he didn't give me $30 million, I was going to publish my tell-all book. That's friggin' extortion. This is where the bargaining chip came in. So instead, when Diddy says you ain't getting shit, you ain't getting no $30 million, that's when she went and filed a civil suit. You got to understand that the time when Cassie filed the civil suit, it was a time window for those who could claim victimhood. New York had this thing where it opened up and they had until that deadline. And she jumped right in through that loophole on that deadline, right? I'm going to throw one in for Sean P. Diddy Combs because he ain't giving me this money that I'm asking for. Now, once she did that, all the business people he's doing business with, everybody is like, yo, this is bad. Anything that has to do with a woman and sex and sexual abuse or physical abuse is bad. We got to settle this up quickly. And they came to an agreement for 20 mil instead of 30, gave her the money, but shit had already hit the fan because once everybody else saw that she got the money and she got it that quick, and they were speculating, some people were like, she got $50 million. Fuck, I want my piece. I'm going to put a story in. I bet you I could get at least 2 mil. I bet you I could get even 1 mil is life-changing. Well, we know now that it was 20 million. Yeah. And when it was settled, of course, the paperwork said the stipulations were she was never to mention his name. She was never to mention him in any interviews. She was never to speak about him publicly. He was never to speak about her publicly, mention her name or anything. And they were to never mention the amount that was settled for. That is why when he were doing them interviews after, you notice he couldn't say her name, and you notice she did not come out and say, well, a great victory happened today. I got some kind of justice, XYZ, because Diddy or Sean P. Diddy, she couldn't say anything. She couldn't say anything. She got 20 mil instead of the 30 mil that she approached him for and told him if he didn't pay it, she was going to publish her book. Right. And that's what we have on Cassie and Diddy for today. Now, today in court, she is still under harder cross-examination. So I'm going to gather up everything, and we might have to go live sometime on the weekend so that when Monday starts, we start fresh. I got a lot going on this weekend. My son's going away to college. I got to drive him there and drop him off and do the proud daddy stuff. I'll be vlogging all that because I like sharing some of my moments with y'all. So we'll do some of that this weekend. Let's see. As far as this case goes, we can have a talk now. Who wanted to call in before could call in before. Mind you, we're going to be on here extended today because we have the Donna Lee Donaldson. We have the Donna Lee Donaldson court case. The Noel Maitland court case is active. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on in that court case as well. But as far as this one goes, King Biggs, yo, rest in peace to my boy there. Escort, yeah, escort me, Biggs. Live on the air with SouFLo. Good morning.
Yes, my brother.
Yes,
so,
King.
I'm going to give you my opinion just after it.
Mm-hmm.
That termite and Diddy a mortgage.
Jesus.
Them match.
Nobody no better than
match.
Yeah, none of them no better than the other one.
But aside from the personal opinion on them character, I not really think this money I go down for all of them there.
Boy, you know what I said, this is America, you know. And I hate to say it and pull the race card, but we have to. I've seen too many cases where it is blatantly proven to be one thing and them still come up deciding something else. The video where Cassie take the lick are in the hotel. If you go back and study that video, they should have really get licked up. Him drag her by her coat, fling her down, and him kick her in her body one time. That's it. But
and I got them take turn it in a this big drama where supposed to destroy the man's career, which them successfully tear down the man.
Yeah, but now if you have some woman on the jury, it's a wrap. Because them are gonna say you should never put your hands on a woman no matter what she does. I don't give a damn about anything else. His ass is guilty. Them are gonna forget, sir. This case so far has shown nothing about sex trafficking, has shown nothing about racketeering, which are the two charges, but they will vote guilty on sex trafficking and racketeering anyways, because them just in them feelings about how he treated this woman who is pregnant and understand and crying. You understand?
Yeah. What did it right now? A piece of germs for how I'm dealing with the things then, you know. But
yeah, man.
Me not think legally them are gonna get for trapping like that.
I don't think so.
I get for destroy in character in our public.
Right. This is a humiliation session. All right.
So did you understand? Beat that case, man, and go buy an island and continue with the sneak off them.
God.
But as I said, it look bad, but it's not as bad as them are making so.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I'm still waiting to hear. Okay, so this is what I think, right? While you're up on the phone. I think that Cassie purposely fling with a case here for Diddy. Anyway, I also think that if she did not testify against him, she would have been up there being charged with him, because all them freak off videotape now when them have guess who in there playing a #1 part. She. So anyhow, she never worked with the prosecution. She would have been up there charged as well with him. But at the same time, she intelligently I don't know if you watch the what the rapper name again would just come off a trial, Young Thug. Did you watch Young Thug trial?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there was a youth there with named Woody. Woody.
Why for that? But yeah.
Yeah.
Why, madam?
Yeah, bro.
Such man.
Yo, we're not easy enough.
I can't say this. That guy.
That guy get up the Palestine. You see, and dash for the case neatly, you know. And he was supposed to be the prosecution's #1 witness. The man stand up there and dash for the case neatly for him, brethren. But now them don't speak. But him never got prison neither, like he got out. So I think Cassie seriously dashed for that case here. If she got up there and she said there's not one time that I friggin' enjoyed any of this, and them couldn't pull up no message where say I liked it and I wanted it and I can't wait for the next one and I want him to this in my whole like that and these things. If they couldn't pull those up, then you would have been in trouble. But they can't.
How they made that talk about that case, sir? Me check say a whole line of somebody with the dip on the plane them and the people them will get transport.
And then have
people that were involved.
Right.
The check say everybody get beaten down.
Right. Many things so. Many things so.
All the man guilty of is
freakiness. No. What a freakiness.
One bag of freakiness.
One bag of freakiness, brother. That's and that mash up film like one bag of freakiness. You know?
The hunger thing will make him now go to jail in my eyes as a yardie.
Yeah.
He never do nothing with no boys like that.
No, bro. So you know hear the part. You see, you have selective hearing. Cause this.
Yes, me the hear.
All right, come on, man. Let me talk, man. Some things you don't even want to hear. That's true.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, my brain just automatically skips some part of this one.
Yeah, man, lock off. That never happened.
All right.
As I heard in the ears of the work, one way by you.
Come on, my phone, then. Let me get into the rest of it. Let me get into the rest of this.
All right, bless
All right, manners and respect, brother. Yo, the one say as I hear the ear, my ears just automatically delete, skip. Don't want to hear none of that. Why? Yeah, listen, at the part where you have a man who I tell you if you describe the next man Teely as the next man is dealing with you. That should have been the biggest red flag out of all of them. Right? Live on the air with SouFLo, good morning.
SouFLo, good morning.
Morning, family. How you doing?
Yeah, man, heavy equipment operator there.
Big up yourself, brother.
Yes, sir. We have a question for you, right? So, he's a man well-read, right? Right? So, being that she settled the case with him, I know she's discussing all of what she said up and they're never supposed to talk about it. Don't she violate that clause or something?
No, because once you get hit with indictment, the indictment supersedes those regulations. So those go out the window. That's why everything can get really revealed now.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Manners,
brother.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the minute that man I tell you about you for this, him sit down in our corner and tell you about describe the man something. Live on the air with SouFLo. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, family. What go on?
Pardon my background noise. I'm a lady at public this morning, but I'm back in Miss Cassie Ventura, whatever her name is. Yeah, 100%. If I was her man, me want to go to the family, me not going to the physical authority. Because me have control when something with my body, so me can't share my authority. Yeah, because this is me. I'm an adult. I am an adult. So I have control. I can speak. I can do whatever I want to do. No, in this thing, you know, see, all the time she behaves like the mistress, madam, but who would have called certain shots, like should have said, all right, he don't want you to go in.
Yes.
Because she created all of that.
Yes.
No, tell me this. If she not perfectly timed this with their pregnancy, if you look pitiful. Oh, a little white girl, straight here with a big belly, looking pitiful. So they look sorry for her because the black person is not seen as that. So you see what's happening? She perfectly timed it for me. She perfectly timed it for me. Me don't know. But that's what I see.
She can't perfectly time it, you know, cause then she would have to go. So we found out that his trial was going to start May in we found that out from December. So December, January, February, March, April, May. So 6 months ago, and she is 8 months pregnant. Me not think she time
when the case broke, when she get the money with everything, because there's a timeline coming up and she may not be precise, you know.
When she get the money, she did already probably about 2 months pregnant.
So money happen, lavish lifestyle are going. So she says, oh, what's another baby night there, of course. But she never knows that maybe this part don't come at the end of the day, you know. But at the same time, to me, she's still timing.
Yes.
Because she's looking pitiful, looking pretty then. Looking pity from the public, from the jury, not even the public, from the jury, because she's not getting no pity from it. This lady ain't backing her.
Me see it the next way, you know. I honestly see it like she have to try. One, she have to try to keep her husband what she have now, because if she ever go up stand there and say, I like everything we went through, Diddy didn't do anything, I was enjoying myself. Yeah, I look back now and think I shouldn't have done it. That man there would have packed up and left. She have to keep victimizing, playing victim. But At the same time, I think she still harbors deep feelings for Diddy, and she don't want to see him totally destroyed. That's why she is saying stuff that she shouldn't be saying. Like, for instance, she has said stuff like, I loved him, that's why I did it, and I just wanted to please him. That takes away the prosecution's case where they're saying she was basically kidnapped and forced and coerced, and she has said no, I was in love with the man, and I chose to do these things because I wanted to see him happy. She even go far as to say I didn't want him to leave me and go be with some other woman and do these things with them. So
and the part of jealousy, yes, because the other ones in her life have fixed him, and she wants to see herself as that because no one partner ways.
Well, she just said that under cross-examination. She just said that, and they revealed that also. Yes, she started sending text messages saying, "I want more from you than just this." And remember, she said all that.
Want to say one thing and get off. When that video was about to release, I think somebody went to her and tapped her on her shoulder and said, all right, get your lives together, file one lawsuit, settle it with, then the video release. That's all I did see. If you watch the timeline, with it, so the only that made I ask is to put in a perspective to me, because all of what me gathered from peace,
I think about it.
Yeah.
So you think it's a concerted effort? You think it's I could see that. I could see that.
That is where I sat, because remember, when you look at you say he say never hit no woman. Then don't you see the release money level, then did the release, then apology. Then everything start go down the inside after
that. All right. Let me address somebody were in here. Junior Copeland, please don't feel like so because you buy membership, you can't come with the fuckery. Okay? We do a lot of topics here. And the first time I ever see your name in here, period. I mean, I'll run you out, I put you in your place though. Right? I'm not one of them that you could buy, right? So don't feel like because you take me your membership, you can't come style something any kind of way. Junior Copeland says, I wish we as the SouFLoTV family could have more uplifting topics to focus on to uplift the Black family.
This is in the public domain.
Which part you there when we are doing ends and ends of upliftment? This what you if this is not your topic, bro, if you're not resonating with what we're saying here today, because everybody else has talked about it. So you're trying to tell me not to speak about something that everybody else is talking about. If you feel like this ain't for you, then just exit stage left. But don't come try style my thing about uplifting no Black family. I do that every day. Anyway, yeah, where did I say no?
Look here. If this is not information for him to learn from, him to learn from, where are we going to learn? And where we put it in better perspective for us so it don't happen to us.
You know, yeah, all that.
Look here, me not public, I'm about to come. Look here, we talking again, that's not make him steal the joy.
All right, my
Continue
friend.
the way I do because you're reaching. Me not ask me, I tell you.
Manners and respect here. Brother, the thing all over publicly. Even Jamaica's news is carrying it. I wake up, I see it in the Gleaner, Star, Loop, all of them, all the way to Jamaica. And we're in the US, right? So what are we supposed to do? It's all over every news media network. We're supposed to just not talk about it and just wake up every day, talk about uplifting the Black family. And my platform is not that solely that anyways. You know? After a while, to tell you the truth, I'm so much uplifting the Black family you can talk about, and who are going to uplift themselves are going to do it, and who don't want to, don't think they're listening to you. Just like how we talk about guns and violence and people shouldn't do this and promiscuous behaviors and keeping your relationship together for the sake of your children, building better relationship, paying it forward, building foundation for them and creating generational wealth and all these things. There's a bag of people who don't listen to that because that's not what they're on. So don't try to style me and change my topic, man, when you see me on something. You resonate with the topic we're discussing now, or you exit stage left because this ain't it for you today. We literally have over 5,000 videos on YouTube. You can choose any one of the 4,999 others. That's simple. Anyway, Nan says international journalists are in New York at this moment for this trial. They done flew in from Germany, the UK, everywhere. But me if you not talk about it. Live on the air with SouFlo. Good morning.
So, don't make it one ginger fly pitch by your Sunday dinner, brother. Don't make one ginger fly spoil up the Sunday dinner, brother.
Manners, bro.
Go on with your thing, Rachel.
Manners.
And I want one next part, I want touch one before I cut it up. The Kim Porter thing now gonna come up in another case, yeah.
Like, yeah, it came up already. Tomorrow we have to go deal with that tomorrow because she did it after. She did it under cross-examination. So what I know so far about the cross-examination, because I don't want to put out that yet till we put the rest of it together. They asked her about what part in the relationship she found out about Diddy with Kim Porter and all these things. And there was one point where she said Kim and Diddy were like so close that even in the middle of one of the freak-offs they were having him left in the middle of the freak-off and leave her with the man them figure there with Kim. Right. So we're gonna put the rest of that together, the cross-examination part, and we'll be back.
No day with no popcorn.
All right. All right, Majid. Say a word.
All right.
Mother. Oh, no, make one ginger fly pitch for your Sunday dinner. Oh man. Hey, the guy that came in the comment section, man, I didn't mean to like shoot off fire like that, bro, but it gets frustrating, you know, because you put in a lot of work, your thing is positive, and then somebody come with something like that. And all it takes is one, and then next thing you know, the next one agree with him, and the next one agree with him. Because for some reason, misery loves company, right? You ever go on a site and you see one negative comment, and then every comment after that is pretty much using the same verbiage words of that one negative comment, and it's just multiplying. Yes, so I can't make that breed up over here, so, right? Having in. Live on the air with SouFlo. Good morning.
Good morning, SouFlo.
Good morning, family.
I'm here laughing. There's so the gentleman just saying nothing popcorn. We're watching Trump movie. We're watching P. Diddy movie. We're watching the one in Jamaica. What name?
Maitland.
Maitland movie. Which one of them are going to sell more?
Boy, I don't know, It look like the Diddy one here gone already. Is the Diddy one is leading. But we're gonna get into the Noel Maitland one now though.
Okay, that's a movie. We have to see it from one channel to the other.
Yes. It's life is happening.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Everybody have to just get some more popcorn. No one has enough popcorn out there.
And get ready.
I'm glad the fire marshal saved the house.
Yes. Boy, she saved the house. It be glad she come in time, cause me did smell something, but me I wonder how something smell toasty. Me I'm gonna hear this thing I go burn down the house. I saw. Mothers I respect here. Big up yourself. All right, big up yourself. Stay tuned for the next one. All right.
Okay, I'm here for the weekend because I'm on vacation now.
All right. Hey, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I saw. let's close out the Diddy Cassie stuff like this, right? I am in no way condoning any kind of violence towards a woman. I am in no way saying that these things that Cassie found herself in are like okay. But I know right now a lot of women, if I try to tell them, say, yo, you're being too promiscuous, why you make the man a lead you down them road there? You're a princess, you're a queen, live better. Y'all go here, go suck your mother. Leave me alone. Mind your own business. This is my life. Me no want no man tell me what to do. Hands off. She made decisions on her own. She lived a certain kind of life. She experienced a lifestyle that majority of us here probably never will and never have before either, right? Now that it come down to this, only thing I'm looking for in all of this, I've already made up my mind that as far as Cassie, and remember, there are other people who have not testified yet. We don't know what's coming out the woodworks next. Because you know how the feds play. What I know is, as far as Cassie and Diddy goes, that were two freaks who, whether him was the older guy who was more freaky and turn her in a theme kind of freak or whatever, that a life is two freaks who enjoyed the freakiness to a degree, and one to a more degree than the other apparently, or so them say now. But this does not say racketeering and it does not say sex trafficking. Those are the two charges that Diddy is up against. And if she was who the prosecution was leaning on to make their case for them, the only thing the prosecution proved, hold on there, the only thing the prosecution proved is a toxic, messed up relationship between two people. Cassie says she thumped him in the face. Me not hear nobody say she shouldn't have done that. I don't hear nobody saying that, right? She admitted to punching him in his face. I didn't hear anybody say, but that proves what others were saying, that she got violent too. They both did the same things. So they don't understand how the blame is switched to one side, right? All I see is a messed up relationship that lasted way too long. It lasted 11 years or 10 years and a half. And that is that. Nothing else. He paid that money out of fear that it would have messed up him thing. It already messed up his thing. It gone through the gate. And because of how many other people ran in after Cassie got paid is what triggered the federal indictment. Y'all don't know this? A federal indictment is when the government sees somebody getting the same complaint over and over lodged against them, they decide to take all the complaints together, build what looks like a case, give it to a group of people who sit around a table, and they decide. Have we seen too many of these? Do you think we could get a criminal case out of this? We should pursue this criminally, or should we just leave it where it's at? And that's how the federal indictment was decided, and it came down, right? And I said there was stalking him and the government did a spy upon him and them see stuff. It's from these cases gathering up. But obviously, Cassie's case was the one that blew this into the open. She was no good for the prosecution, if you ask me. She did not nail the case. She might have revealed some embarrassing information that Diddy probably didn't want people to know, like telling your woman to describe that man's teely while he's playing with it, while you're watching it. And or if they ejaculate, just come to the next room and rub the semen on me, and these kind of things. People are weirded out by that, right? But that should have also been a point where the woman is like, hold up, you want me to do what now? Okay, we're into voyeurism now. You had me riding with that, but then the one thing she never said was, a man clap him or ride him or him ride the next man. But putting the next man juices off her and rubbing it on me, rub it on me. And that's stuff that we would have never heard unless it was for her. So all they did was reveal some information that might be shameful to him. It's 2025. Nobody gives a damn. And sister, everybody out the road, gay or bisexual or curious are something, or identify as what they're not, or something. So all that is going to be stuff that blows over in the grand scheme of things. Have the prosecution proven their case so far against Diddy? And the answer is hell to the no. Not just a no, hell to the no. I felt like I was listening to a soap opera, Netflix series of a bad relationship, kind of something. And that's not the charge that he's on. That's a domestic issue. It's not a federal issue, right? All right. If BM says if he didn't Diddy, you wouldn't hear about this case. Not condoned abusing. Exactly. And I said that before, and some women got mad. If Diddy did broke, if him did have a broke bicycle John, we wouldn't hear about this a case. As a matter of fact, she wouldn't have stuck around even that long, right? The first time him look for the next woman, she's gonna say, you know what, you too flirtatious, you're not for me, I'm moving right along. If him did have a little bit of something now, she might have get a chance, little bit more. The first time him raise him hand, well, I'm too pretty for this shit, I'm moving right along. When you're talking private jets and mansions and the keys to your dreams, and he's proven that, oh, I just got off a jet. I just came from Aspen. And now I'm heading into this place. And now we're going here. And we just flew out to XYZ. And $160,000 for one shopping spree, all in cash in my hands. And I don't pay bills. I'm taken care of. That's kind of like, do I really want to leave this though? Where else am I going to find this though? Damn, but I got to go through this shitty shit just to get this. You know what? Weighing my options, man. That. Live on the air with SouFLo. Good morning.
SouFLo.
Yeah, my brother. Me not finish so what I say. Talk to him, man. All right, talk to it.
First thing more ask.
Mm-hmm.
You notice me I see everybody on Diddy in a courtroom and we are here say Diddy this and Diddy parents this and Diddy parents that.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie have no parents.
Yeah, but them are hide. Them no want no part of this.
All right. Here what me I go say, man them.
Mm-hmm.
Staying on the daughter them life in a youth.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Staying on the daughter them life.
Yes.
And drive one certain fear in the daughter them. That means so when time man bring certain fuckery to them. Excuse me language.
Talk it truth though.
They can brush you off. And say no, daddy not go proud of that.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody have to feel it, daddy hear that.
Yes.
Man them staying on the youth them life brethren.
Real talk.
They go big and do what they want to do. But them a piss pan and shit pan and vomit pan you. I know it, brother.
Yeah. Real talk.
If you set to a certain levels with a youth, no man can bring them to them a level with a youth.
True.
That me I go say so. That's the one next thing a man can take from this.
That's a real talk, bro.
Staying on the youth them life. In the girl picking them life.
True. True.
Again, that's why I do it your little one, you will continue to do it.
Man, that's my brother.
They can't come near she.
Yeah. You do the same, man.
Yeah, man, I tell you.
Yeah, you do the same, man.
Man,
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Staying on the picking them life, youth.
True that.
Important.
Super important.
You understand?
Super important.
I'll go back in our chat.
All right, my brother.
Yeah.
True. And you know, I was thinking about that too, but I'm glad him said, can me forget to say it. Because you see, when a young lady starts getting to the point where she achieves dreams and stuff, she, especially if she never have that solid foundation, they have a loving, solid father, present, ever present in her life, she'll go looking for it in other places, you know what I'm saying? And why the predators them out there, you know? The predators are out there. Look, I don't even want to talk about Cassie no more, but now that 5 Up bring this up, Cassie wanted kids by Diddy, you know. She wanted a family with him, you know. And she did it before all of the other women them will come get kids and family. And you know what your kids mean to somebody like him? Heir to the friggin' throne. Plush lifestyle. You can't even live as the mother through them picnic there, financially secured for life. Cassie not even did get that. My man made sure him never breed her. So yeah, and she was so in love with him, like staying there picnic them life, yes, especially men to your daughters, man. Yeah, yeah. Trust me, the world is not short of man out there ready for twist her up. I mean, I talk about those twist her up like twist her up the way them. I talk about twist up our mental and have our, you know, just do what him want. That's all. So, and nothing good. Him not have no good intention for your little princess. Nothing. You know, me look at my daughter them sometime and I said to myself, say, I wish Ross boy could have ever. The way how me I put in to make sure say. And then me look on them and watch how them a grow up beautifully. And then me think ahead now further a little bit more down the road. And some boy come take liberty about all my little Malani, all my Nika, and come take liberty about him a drag that go around this a good. Listen. It would be, I want to know, now that you bring this up, me want to know where Cassie father there. Now that you brought that up, I want to know where her daddy at. And I'm curious to know what is their relationship. Because all I've ever heard her talk about is her mom. So now I'm curious, you know. But we're gonna get into that on the next day. We have the Noel Maitland stuff. Roderick Ventura is our father. All about Cassie's parents. Our mother named Regina. Our father named Roderick. Roderick dede, but him not dede look like. A soft force, you know, them kind of something there. And there's another thing too that we must say before we close out this. This are the hurtful part of life now. We know 5 ups are staying and picking them life, right? This is the bomber cloud part of life now. Watch this. Missy already, come a big man, you know, we've been on earth for a while. I've seen where parents put in their all. Them ever present, picnic get everything, including time, including everything you could think of to say, man, you had a perfect growing up or a perfect upbringing. Them still go astray and go all the way astray too. You know, that's the bomber cloud part of life. That's what my friend. So sometimes when time tick broke off in them ears and them decide say I done gully road them ton. And nothing you can do as a parent after you done do what you do already. You just have to watch it with a heartache and know say look all the talk me talk. Look all the teach me teach. Look all the time me spend with you, the money, the time, the things I taught you, all this, and you can't do nothing about it. So not only stay there, you're picking them life, you better pray hard too. Pray hard so where you are teacher connect and will actually be what they use to guide them. Cause you know everybody wants them leave home. It's like them either depend them own compass or them still use your compass. You better pray so them still use your compass. You better pray so them member say, nah, me have to go answer to mommy and daddy if me do this. So you know what? That ain't for me. That ain't for me. Yeah. Remember when I go to England and them offer me coke. And I end up around some people, I tell us that them used to chop it up, so line it up on the table and I see the brother say, he says, oi mate, you want some? And I said, no, hell no. When me know about coke, at Clarendon me come from and I see weed make man run up in a coconut tree. Coconut tree now no limp on it. I see man run right up to the top of that. You not give me no coke. And them people here back at me right here, so Miss Ruby and Mas Clevey, me I said, me used to think Mas Clevey could have killed me anyway, and because I had that healthy dose of fear. And Miss Ruby, me just never want to shame her, right? So them two there, if you don't have nobody in your life where you look back and you can say, yo, because the kind of shame where this could have bring possibly upon them, me not do it. You can do all that and still end up get shame. So yeah, whole heap of prayers to go with that. They hope say them stay upon your compass. I feel them compass me stay upon. And that's why I avoid some things in this life, I know. Feel them compass me stay upon. Me not tell you no lie. Me can't even say my mother and my father compass. Them two people here compass me stay upon. Them. Not saying my mom and my dad didn't teach me anything. I love both of them, but I fit them two people here compass me stay upon. Live on the air with SouFLo. Good morning.
SouFLo, one more time I call and I say, big up five up from the speech there. I have 2 daughters and I've live furniture and put them through what they need to learn at school. And trust me, my birthday in December. You see this December, my 2 daughters, them, one at 26, one at 22. Call and come over and carry me go dinner. And at this dinner, the 2 of them make them own a speech and thank me for how I raise them. Because I raise them like yard, I raise them like Yankee.
Same.
You see me? Everything me did learn at yard, I try to teach them. And the one thing what I did do, when I see the results of, I not lie to my people them. I'm not talk around corner to my people them.
Same. You tell them the truth.
The truth.
And that me tell enough parents to do to my friend. Yeah. Now pretty up the thing.
Yeah, man.
Make them know the reality and the truth.
Real argument. So me have to call back and say big up 5 up on the speech there. Because between how you raise your kids and this thing what this man just said.
Yeah.
Enough people pick the last and can't find them yet. Because the fathers are not being fathers. They try to pick the friend.
True.
So now all of the time, we just have to call back and say.
Manners and respect to you too, brother.
Blessed.
Manners.
Yeah.
Yeah. It make we feel good when we stand firm in our youth them life, you know. It's like you don't need no accolades from nobody. You just need to know, sir, that is what it is, and you are play your God-given part. That's all. Boy, but that part there, which part life can sting you when time them go upon them own and take them own turn down gully road, boy. And forget everything what you did teach them, say. That hurts. Anyhow, we're gonna keep on up to date with the whole Cassie testimony thing, and we'll do that the next time we meet again. But right now, we are going to move on over into what is going on with the Noel Maitland case. Let me see. And we'll start off by saying, for those of you who don't know, I know we sound repetitive for those who do know, but just work with the program. For those, because we have to get those who don't know on track with us also. Somebody said, SouFLo, please remember that some people are just finding out about you. They're just coming to the platform. So sometimes they don't know what you're talking about, XYZ. And I take that into consideration. So I will quickly put everybody on track, and then we get into the information that was put out lately. So Noel Maitland is a police officer in Jamaica, a police constable. Donna Lee Donaldson was a pretty popular social media influencer who was his girlfriend. She is much younger than he is. Noel was the last person that was seen with Donna Lee. Donna Lee went missing, I believe, in 2022, was never to be heard from or seen again. According to crime investigation, forensics, information gathered, evidence, so to speak, circumstantial, it says that she was killed and that Noel is the person that did it. Everybody is saying justice for Donna Lee. So with that said, we'll get into where we're at now because his trial has started and her mother is the first person who took the witness stand to testify what she know about and see a Guan, right? So this is the second time we're diving into information that came out in court through the mom. One headline says Donna Lee tried to dodge Noel Maitland during that visit to his house. During visit to house. We have to get into that because we don't know if she means for our house and she never want to go or Another one, she said Donna Lee left with her passport. The first thing I thought to myself was, why mommy going to court go tell them said Donna Lee left with passport? Because that implies she was planning on going somewhere. Right? I don't know anybody who just walk around with them passport just like that for no reason. Right? Noel Maitland appeared disturbed and in a panic after Donna Lee's disappearance, the mom testified. So Sophia Lugg is her name. And she testified on Wednesday that Constable Noel Maitland, the boyfriend of her daughter, Donna Lee Donaldson, he had seemed very nervous. Remember the last time when her first testimony, she said, Noel called me and he said, Mommy, because him call her Mommy. And I said, what a wicked ass. You murder the girl and I call her mother Mommy. Him said, Mommy, you hear from Donna or Donna Lee? And the mother immediately said, Noel, what kind of foolishness you ask me? But if me hear from her. No, you leave here with her. She left here with you. And usually when she leave with you, you bring her back. So we're fast forwarding to this now. She said Noel seemed nervous while the Halfway Tree police station in St. Andrew, where they had gone, at the Halfway Tree police station where they had gone to report Donna Lee missing on July 13th of 2022. She was last seen on the 12th. A day later, they reported her missing. She was last seen at the Chelsea Manor apartment complex in St. Andrew where Noel Maitland lives. And the prosecutors have compiled a host of circumstantial evidence that they have used to build a case against Maitland, who is on trial now in the Home Circuit Court in Kingston in relation to the murder and unlawful burial of Donna Lee Donaldson's corpse. There was closed-circuit television footage of Donna Lee Donaldson and Maitland arriving at the apartment complex, but none of these, and I believe I read all the paperwork, so I don't remember the number. I'm thinking it was 7. 7 cameras altogether caught them going in. Of all 7 cameras, none of them have her coming out. The mother of Donna Lee told the 7-member jury in the trial that while she was giving a statement to the police station, her mood was one of devastation. You know, when a mother says, I can feel it in my belly, I can feel it, there's something wrong, I feel it in my womb. On the other hand, she said, Noel Maitland himself seemed as if he was disturbed and seemed as if he was in a panic. Noel came in the room where Officer Voucher and I were. He told the officer that he would have to leave. Remember, police, I talked to police, you know. He told the officer that he would have to leave. Officer Voucher said, you can't go because your statement is not given yet. Noel told the officer, Officer Voucher, that he would leave his number with him so that he can call him when it is his time to give his statement. And then he left. Noel was moving very, very fast, the mother testified. You see, she was last seen with this police officer. She's missing. A day later, he shows up at the police station to give a report in the company of her mom, who saw him leave with her. He should have never been allowed to leave at this moment. You know, I follow this story? He shouldn't have been allowed to leave at that moment, you know. They should have told him that he couldn't leave. He should have been an automatic person of interest immediately. Constable, have a seat. We have to get your story now. But they allowed him to leave. Send me number here. Call me when I'm my time to talk. Me gone. It said that Maitland had his phone in his hand and he was texting very fast. She said, just a text very fast. This is in the police station while she gave a report. I didn't see who he was texting or what was being texted. Yes, I did complete that statement to the police. When I was finished, I left, Donna Lee's mother said. She was very emotional on Tuesday when she outlined for the jury that Noel Maitland had contacted her on the 13th to ask her if she had heard from Donna Lee Donaldson on the 13th. Can be. Because if the got filed statement on the 22nd, let me follow this properly. So July 12th, 2020. Okay, so on the 13th, yes, it is right. It's the 2022 is the year. So on the 13th, he called to ask her. So she said to the jury, she outlined everything for the jury. When Noel called to ask if she heard from Donna Lee. The mother explained that she thought the question was ridiculous because it was Noel who picked up her daughter from the house and brought her to where he lived. So why are you calling to ask me that? His explanation to the mother when she raised the questions was that both him and Donna Lee, they got upset over a particular issue and she just left. He insisted that he did not know where she went or if anyone came to pick her up. The mother recommended that he check the cameras at the apartment complex, and according to her, Maitland thought that that was a good idea and said that he went at the apartment, but he would have to call her back shortly. Good idea, you know, moms. May we call you back shortly. I bet you say I just saw him get the idea, say, oh shit. Let me go try to talk to the people them who have camera and try to get the footage. Because he did, according to his neighbor. He tried to get the neighbor to erase the footage, right? On Wednesday, in court, the mother told the court that Noel Maitland, in fact, did call her back, explaining that he got no positive information from the people who are responsible for accessing and the monitoring the cameras. He called back and he said he spoke to the camera guy and he said that they said that they were a lot of vehicles coming in and out with glasses and windows tinted up, so they couldn't be able to see who was taking her out. That's what Noel called and told me. So I told him that that was stupidity. And I told him that that doesn't make sense, Noel, because the cars them must have stopped at the security point when they were leaving and when they were entering. He then promised, all right, mom, I'm going to call you back again. He called back again in about 45 minutes after that last call. And he started encouraging me, you know, and insisting that I go and report the matter. He kept repeating that you need to go to the police station because this is very unlike Donna Lee. You need to go to the police station. He meant something was really wrong with Donna. He asked me which police station I was going to, and I told him that I would speak to him. In about half an hour, he called me back again. By that time, I was convinced that something had happened to Donna Lee. So I decided to go to the Halfway Tree police station. It was the nearest one. My brother and a couple of my family members accompanied me in my car. When I arrived at the station, my phone was ringing. It was Noel Maitland again. He asked me which one of the stations I decided to go to. I told him, and he said he would be there shortly. In about 5 minutes, a silver car pulled up, and it was Noel, and he was accompanied by a female. Yes, I knew the person's name, Kathy Ann Smith. When Noel pulled up in the silver car, he came up the stairs at the police station. Noel Maitland and I started talking to the inspector, Inspector Henry. And I started explaining to Miss Henry when Donna Lee left home. And I pointed to Mr. Maitland and I said, Inspector, this is her boyfriend. And he was the one who took her from the house. Damn. According to the mother, the inspector turned to Noel Maitland and asked him, what happened? Lug, the mother, said that Maitland told the inspector, Inspector Henry, that Donna Lee left the apartment a little after 10. She said that the policewoman then asked him who picked her up. And he said, I don't know enough. Miss Henry said to him, come better than that, man. You know better than that. Come better than that. Donaldson's mother, Miss Lugg, said, too, that her daughter went out with Maitland at least twice per week and would usually return home the following morning. He normally come drop her off in the black BMW. On one occasion, he drove a truck that carries prisoners. He also would drive a police jeep sometimes, she said, highlighting that Donna Lee had alerted her to a disagreement that she had with Noel Maitland and told the mother what the disagreement was about. Karen noticed that he's not a smart policeman. Me not think so neither. I said it yesterday that either he panicked or did something to her in a fit of anger and then after him do it, because there's no way he thought this through, because the first thing that would have came to his mind was, if me I go kill her, I can't carry her go over which part me live, because the amount of camera them have over there, so cameras are going to see me and she walk in and them not going to see her walk out. Me goose cook right away. So I'm thinking something happened and got escalated, and he is naturally probably a violent kind of person who probably beat her all the time, and this time beating gone too far and she dead. And then he panicked and was thinking of a way to cover up her death. And then, you know, Jesus Christ, how me I go get past the camera them now? All right, so me have to go, because them can't see me I draw body out of the house, because me no camera over here. So me have to go like cut her up, put her in a settee, then make up an excuse, say, me I get rid of the settee because me want a new one. And in the midst of your girlfriend going missing after she was just seen with you, you just suddenly think that you want a new couch in your apartment. Anyhow, the mother said that Donna Lee tried to dodge Noel Maitland when he visited the house. During examination in chief, prosecutor Claudette Thompson asked the mother if Noel Maitland had ever entered her yard when she lived with her daughter Donna Lee and her other children. And the mother shared that he did. And she said, so only once over roughly a 3-year period, her daughter had been involved with him. Only once over a 3-year period. He came into my yard once. That should be a big red flag for you too. You see, any boy who my daughter a date her there with and she get to the point where she can leave and come back next day in a film company. Me a big man. Me know what happen when time man and woman or man, male and female leave, spend night together and come back. You have to go be somebody who can sit down on my veranda and or in my living room and we talk. You know, I saw somebody said the other day, it was a woman, and she said, I don't need to be friends with his mom. I'm not marrying his mother. I don't give a F about where his daddy at either. And I thought, I hope this brother don't marry this girl. I don't need to be friends with his mom. I'm not marrying his mother. Now, any well-thinking person would have know, say, anybody who have one good mother, them love them mommy to death. So if you can have a level of respect for her, or even foster some type of a relationship where a conversation, at least a decent conversation, can take place, that relationship between me and you can't go nowhere. Because there's always going to be conflict and turmoil. Not that you're attached to your mom forever, but she is a fixture in my life for the rest of my life. You understand? So if you hear somebody say that, I just thought that was a deep thing. You know when somebody say a one sentence, but the one sentence tell a whole paragraph? Yeah, that's one of those. It tells a whole paragraph. So for y'all out there, man, if you're dating and you hear somebody say, them no business boy your parents, and your parents them are married at you, and left them alone. Because if you and your parents good, then them have to go be something wrong there. So suppose your parents get sick and have to move in your house and you have to take care of them and stuff like that. You know, with somebody who don't care about your parents, don't even want to have a conversation with them after knowing parents me are married. Right? She said in the 3 years period that Donna Lee dealt with Noel, one time him come in our yard. I heard Mr. Maitland shouting, him call her Lee. And him say, Lee, Lee, which was the name that he gave to her. She got up from the couch in my room and she said, Mommy, I am not here. I am not here. She did not try hide first. I'm not here. So she went to the back room and I got up and I pulled my bedroom door, which lead out to the veranda. And I saw Mr. Maitland pulling my grill and entering inside of my yard. I can't recall the time. And I said to him, do you have a warrant? I asked him that because he was dressed in his police uniform. And he smiled and he said, Mom, I know nothing, man. Me I call her and she not answer. And me know say she did it. This is what he said. She said he had a soft voice and his mood was very calm. Even though she said that Donna Lee told her to tell Noel that she was not there, she still come out of the house and go talk to him. Donna came out and I just left them and I went back inside and I closed the door behind me and they were out there having a conversation, but I did not hear what it is they was talking about. The thoughts of living without her for roughly 3 years has made her mom weak. She break down, she cry in court, and as she left the court building, she was crying to the point where it appeared difficult for her to even stand upright. She was crying so hard. In court, she shared that the relationship that she and her daughter had was more like two sisters, not really like a mother and daughter. Remember, she said Donna tell her everything. Dorothy T says the poor mother not having a body makes it 10 times worse. My mother-in-law and I are so tight. My husband oftentimes gets sick over it, says Kaitai Jai Empress. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Karen Notice says, my husband used to visit my parents every single weekend, and my mom used to give him Sunday dinners. When he got home, he wasn't hungry. She full up in belly before before he reach out to you. That's what's up, man. But trust me, anytime you hear somebody say that, after I know your mother, me are married. Me don't have nothing to do with it. Just know say that set off 1 million red flags that you should not, by any chance, ignore. All right. The part now where mommy said Donna Lee left home with our passport. When me hear that, I said, or when I saw it yesterday, I was like, why is she go tell them that? So under cross-examination from Christopher Townsend, which is a top attorney, who is one of Noel Maitland's attorneys, Donna Lee's mother said that Donna Lee had her reason for leaving home with the passport. The attorney asked her if her daughter had a passport. And she responded by saying, yes, sir, she had a passport. She said that after her daughter's disappearance on July 12th of 2022, and during an interview with investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigation, or INDECOM. INDECOM is like an oversight body for our law enforcement, right? Them are who people go to say the police beat me up and top me in my eye and I didn't do anything, open an investigation on police abuse and XYZ. So the mother said after having a conversation with INDECOM, she was asked about the passport, but she was not able to produce Donna Lee's passport. She had left with it for a reason, sir, is what the mother told No Use INDECOM Crystal J. That me call them too. The mother said them asked her about passport, she couldn't find it, she couldn't produce it to them. She told the Christopher Townsend, Noel Maitland's attorney in court, that yes, Donna Lee had a passport and she left with it. She left with it for her own reasons, sir. Clarifying that she told INDECOM that Donna Lee left home with the passport. She told the courts that the last time she spoke with her daughter was on the morning of July 12th of 2022 around 8 a.m. And when Donna Lee asked her to feed her dog named China, she told the courts that subsequent to that, she tried calling her several times, but no luck. She just would not answer her phone. Now, she said she shared a very close relationship with Noel Maitland, which is Donna Lee. Lug was the first to testify. The prosecution has 32 witnesses. 32 witnesses. The mom was the first to testify of 32 witnesses that are expected to take the stand in the Home Circuit Court trial on Noel Maitland, who is accused of murdering Donna Lee Donaldson. All right. Now, she was last seen at his apartment. We know that. They asked her, so how you know Noel? And she said, yes, of course, I knew Noel. He was a friend of my daughter for almost 3 years at the time. I met Noel at my home. Donna, she came home one evening with Noel Maitland, who was sitting in the car. I didn't go out there same time to say hi. It was a couple of days after that we started saying hello. And he would call me mom. I got sick in 2022 while I was in Los Angeles, California, in the US. He would correspond on the phone and he would say, Mom, take your medication, She told the court that Maitland would call her phone whenever he could not reach Donna Lee. He would sometimes call me if he was trying to call Donna and not getting through to her. And after I got sick in 2022, I became a bit closer with Noel. He would seem so concerned about my health, you know. He would say, Mom, how are you feeling? And I spoke to Noel earlier in February when I was away. Noel would call to check on me. And at one point, he was joking about me bringing back a phone for him when I came back to Jamaica. The trial continues, and the mother is still on the witness stand and will have more testimonies to give. Boy, I would like to know how our passport come into this. Yeah, I would like to know how our passport come into this. Why Indicom asks about our passport. And the reason why is because there is one thing in Noel Maitland's case that I don't think he can beat this, because you can't do this. The 7 cameras. The 7 cameras that saw her go in with you, but only a bloody couch came out. The thing is, they don't have the bloody couch anymore. But the 7 cameras says she went in. So you have to, unless his attorneys can explain how she come out of that apartment and was not seen on them 7 cameras, then dog nyam him supper, or it should. It should. I think the police also foiled up this case from the beginning. And I think they gave Noel leniency because he is a fellow police officer. You notice when the inspector asks him, so what happened? And him say, I don't know, some car pick her up last night. You notice the inspector said, you come better than that, because you know better than that. Live on the air with SouFLo, good morning.
Yeah, SouFLo, Seaman. Remember, she's supposed to pick up the money from her father.
And that is on the timeline as well. She was supposed
so maybe that's why she leave with the passport to pick up the money.
As an ID.
Yeah. Because she was supposed to pick up the money the same day from her father.
Right. And it makes sense. Absolutely. And the father was wondering why she hadn't picked up the money yet.
Yeah, why she did she was talking to him at one point. So
on FaceTime.
That's the reason.
Yeah, she was talking to him at one point on FaceTime, and when she was talking to, you know what, you know how him goes cooked up? The timeline where him give where he said she left his apartment already is past the time when she was talking to her father on FaceTime, and the background the father recognized as Noel's apartment.
Yeah.
Right. So she was still in his apartment.
The passport, yeah, so she have a reason to leave the house with the passport.
Makes sense. All right, my brother. Now the part about all right, thank you.
Yeah, man, going back.
All right. Perfect sense. So she will use our passport as an ID to go pick up clear our money from Western Union that her father had sent in, or MoneyGram or whatever. That's another piece in the case that's going to be used against him. Because the timeline where him said she leave, she did gone already by that time. The father, when he was alive, he said no, she wasn't gone already. That's why we know something wrong now for sure. Because we just talked to her on FaceTime, and I feel apartment we see in the background when she left on FaceTime. Right? And the fact, so she got killed shortly after she spoke to her dad then. Something happened to her shortly after she spoke to her dad because she was supposed to go pick up her money. She didn't make it to go pick up the money. Right. Was any DNA collected from the car wash place? And what happened to the van that carried the couch? Remember, it went missing for a minute. We know that the DNA that they have, they said the DNA at the car wash was badly destroyed. Them couldn't work off of anything that was there. The coach was said to be dropped downtown Kingston and never to be seen again. I don't know where them dropped the coach and somebody else pick up the coach. I don't believe that. I think he had help. I think while all that while texting was going, it was like, yo, carry the coach go far or something like that. I don't know. Move the bird them over to the next bush. I don't know, talking codes or something. But he definitely had help for sure. That couch was probably taken somewhere and dismantled and burnt. After them wet it down, it would have hard to burn it, but Jamaica sun rough. Them time they are here, easy to dry that, throw gasoline on it, burn it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what and his attorney now is saying that my attorney, I say, taxi driver, that a taxi man when did a star car or something like that could be the one who is responsible for her disappearance. Listen, unless that taxi man was inside a Noel Maitland's apartment and disappear with her and the two of them came out as vapors that could not be seen on camera, that are the only way. Right? They have evidence from his cell phone, Let's TV. Them have evidence from his cell phone, but the evidence come from forensics and from cell tower, cell site information, not from his specific phone. Although we don't know so far, we're gonna have to see. But as like them should have scrubbed his phone, right? A forensic expert should have scrubbed his phone, gone through all the text messages, pull up back some text message that when you erase stuff, you think it's gone, but it's not gone. It's in the cloud stored, and they can pull it back down. So them should have pull up back all them latest text. I'm looking forward to all of that to come out in this case. I'm looking for all that to come out in this case. And if they didn't do all that, then it should show you that they're actually trying to help him to get off. Not true? Yeah. The coach was never found again, which is weird. Because I think them say it's a big green coach or big blue coach. I don't know how that just disappears. So the people who help him obviously not talking. I remember the truck driver said, all him do, I drive the truck. Matter of fact, him jump out of the truck and him did ask them if them want him give them a hand. You want me to give you a hand with it? Because them move the truck over a balcony or over something like that, railing. You want me to give you a hand with it? And them said, no, we have it. You know? So all he did was drive. So him drive, him pull in, them load the thing in there, him carry it, go spot themself to carry it, go, and him drop it there, so dump it, and that's that. The car wash man, the car wash attendant was the one who gave them information. The car wash attendant said that flies did not follow the coach because so much blood, and the blood did thick and a whole heap of it. Remember, I know, not because somebody work a car wash, that means that them a dummy, you know. Somebody can actually tell, like, damn, this is real blood and it's a whole heap of it, and it raw. I think he actually described it as him said it smell raw. He said the blood smell raw. And the amount that was pouring out, I believe he said the right side of the couch or something like that. He said the amount of blood would pour out the couch. He might be asked, Noel said, what happened to someone? And Noel said, cousin or something was doing some work around the house and cut him hand. And the youth replied to him and said, cut him hand? He must be dead. And the way how he said he must be dead, He said it because there was so much blood pouring out the side of that couch. Now, that couch, right? There should be blood every other places. Hold on, think with me. There should be blood other places. So if the couch did not bleed out, leak out that bad, that means that there should be blood in the truck where carry the couch. There should have been blood somewhere outside of his apartment trailing to the truck. Cause lift the truck, the thing up, put it in the truck, right? That is evidence, Dorothy T. Yes, Carthage Empress, that part. The satellite footage that pinged his phone right where her phone was. And his phone was with her phone all the way up until her phone disappeared off the planet. Drop off of the grid is what they call it. No longer showing a signal for it. And his phone remained. That means I either carry her phone, go dash it to somewhere, destroy it somewhere, or something. And he had his phone on him while he was doing that. Boy. So she said he appeared disturbed and he was panicking, and him tell the other officer, say him have to go. The officer say, you can't go. You have to give a report first. Him said, take my number and call me when am my time for give a report. And he left speedily while texting 100 miles an hour. That trial that we covered where the guy was actually a suspect in the murder of his wife in the US, took out a large life insurance policy. She died, he got a pretty good chunk of it and moved to Jamaica and married another woman, a Jamaican woman. That case there, that just happened. That's where they got him at. It was with text messages. And they never revealed all that until during the trial. So we don't know what they're going to pull out in this trial. We just have to keep watching. But I'll say this now. If they did not scrub his phone, then they did an injustice. Because I bet your money that he wasn't thinking this through. And there's incriminating text messages in that phone. Them said the taxi driver may be the culprit in Donna Lee's disappearance. Which taxi driver? They're trying to make stuff up as they go along, right? Let's see. Taxi driver may be the culprit. And that was recently put up. I put all this together for y'all last night, you know. See? So we just have to remember to tap in and see what is being said. Give me that page. Okay. So the defense team for Constable Noel Maitland, the boyfriend alleged behind the disappearance of influencer Donna Lee Donaldson, they sought to establish in court that a taxi driver or a stalker may be the actual Noel got prison. At this point, he's going to prison and his attorneys are just taking his money. Noel Maitland is currently on trial. We already know that. Sophia Lugg, Donna Lee Donaldson's mother, earlier testified that Noel had picked up her daughter from her home July 11th of 2022 and that she last spoke to her daughter the following morning, but that attempts after to reach her failed. However, Defense attorney Townsend, during his cross-examination this morning, questioned the mother about Donna Lee Donaldson's use of taxi service and a number of companies she would use. He first asked the mother if she was aware of a particular taxi company that her daughter would use, but the mother indicated that her daughter did not use that company. She used several, is what he asked her. The mother said she used 3. And she named the 3 companies. The mother then admitted that her daughter used a specific driver to move around, but said that she did not tell the police about that. The mother also testified that her daughter would do deliveries about 2 to 3 days per week. Christopher Townsend also inquired about the mother, whether she was aware of her daughter, what her daughter was promoting her business on Instagram, and that her daughter had pictures in which she was modeling in swimwear and in lingerie. What a wickedness. I would all this get my boy upset too. That what was she delivering 3 days a week? I'm not saying nothing. I'm asking what she was delivering 3 days a week, because we live in a society now where a girl can just sit on her yard and make money, Yeah, brother said, I got 200. She said, I'm on my way. She call her Uber. She go over. She make her money. She go back her yard. She do that 3 days a week. I wish they would clarify what the hell they mean by she would make deliveries 3 days per week. Maybe she was delivering things from her business, whatever business that is. The attorney asked the mother in court if she was aware that her daughter was promoting her business on Instagram and had pictures in which she was modeling swimwear and lingerie. The mother said that she knew that, while pointing out that her daughter also had videos, not just pictures. Some didn't know that. He asked her, had she complained to you that persons were looking at her page and made uncomfortable sexual comments? And the mother said, no, sir. She never said nothing about that. He went on to say, or they were stalking her. Did she tell you about stalking? Townsend added, to which the mother answered, no. She never complained about anything like that. No, sir. Townsend then asked the mother, you said y'all are close, right? What he's trying to establish there, people, is that y'all ain't that close. Because she did have stalkers, she did have people leaving uncomfortable comments that could lead to or have us thinking that she might have had a stalker or somebody like that. She never tell you that, and you didn't know it, so y'all couldn't have been that close. You said y'all were close, right? Was the last thing he said. Now, during further cross-examination, the mother disclosed that her missing daughter had her passport when she left home with Noel Maitland before she vanished. The mother said that Donna Lee had documents for reasons. The mother, however, denied claims that her missing daughter had been trying to have a baby with Noel Maitland and had suffered 3 miscarriages. The attorney said, you are aware that your daughter and Mr. Maitland, they were trying to have a baby, The mother said, no, sir. The attorney said, you are aware that she has had not one, not two, but 3 miscarriages. The mother said, no, sir, I'm not aware. They said, when she said, no, sir, I'm not aware, she kind of had a smirk on her face like, what? You know, like, what me I hear? Lulu Ridges said she had secrets. Damn. And I remember when I did say, when I said, when I was looking up, just supposing and hypothetically speaking, and I said, I wonder what the motive is. Remember one of them when we said, what if she get pregnant and him say him no want the baby, and she said, me I keep it anyway. And that's what that was about. That's funny. Not comical funny, but just funny. In a sense that now in court, the attorney is saying, are you aware that she saw 3 times she get pregnant and had 3 abortions? Or not abortions, sorry. Take that back. I did not mean abortions. Let's make that very clear. I don't want no problems. She had 3 miscarriages. Donna Lee is not here to speak for herself. So we don't know how she was miscarrying those babies. You understand? I don't know what kind of relationship a man and a woman would have where him cause her for miscarriage. But she still stayed. I would like to know where he record that she had 3 miscarriages. Was this something Noel said, or did this information come from doctors or a doctor's office? I don't know if Jamaica stay the same way, but you're not privy to somebody's information like that in the States. So I don't know. That's a big twist. Boy. Not in Jamaica. So in Jamaica, them can just tell your business. Kata Joy. I would have liked to know. I would really like to know, like, where, how them find that out. Well, that is what we have so far. The bombshell is about the 3 miscarriages and that they were trying to have a baby. I don't think they were trying to have a baby. I think me did just suppose, say, to reach a point where she did have a baby, or I go have a baby. You know, them can't find her to even test to see if she died pregnant. They can't even test to see if she was pregnant at death. Oh, Kata Joy said, hell yes, with money. Crystal G says they don't have no HIPAA rules. Missy Bram says it could be making stories too. Crystal G said none of this matters. You know, all this does, Crystal G, is just build up a narrative, right? this build up a narrative as to why this might have happened. Sometimes people are talking and tell upon themselves, you know. Sometimes people are talking and them start tell upon themselves. Don't even realize that them are tell upon themselves. Them just tell on themselves. Sometimes it's good to just let people run with whatever they're running with and you just sit back and pay attention, right? Because look how we suppose, right? I say suppose. Suppose her pregnant, she get pregnant. And because Noel had a woman have a child. So the woman will have the picnic for Noel. No. That was Noel's woman while he was with Donna Lee. So Donna Lee was with a man who had a woman. So boy, this look funny. So Noel Donna Lee was with a man who had a woman. The woman just had a baby not too long ago. And could be a reason why he wouldn't want the next woman to have a baby. Two women have baby one time for you. And you tell your side thing, or you maybe Donna Lee wasn't even his main thing. But you tell Donna Lee, say you don't want a baby now. From her, she said, me I keep it. Because I don't believe in abortion and how much baby me lose already. Boy, you man not jealous, you know. I tell people all the time this. You're jealous when all of them know each other and have it worked out. Live on the air with SouFLo. Good morning.
Good morning, SouFLo.
Good
How
morning.
are you today?
I'm good, family. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Are you still talking about Donna Lee?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Have you heard of this thing recently, Pretty Girl Privilege?
It's called what?
Pretty Girl Privilege.
Pretty Girl Privilege. Yeah, but run that back by me again.
Okay, so let me explain to you. You have some women out there that are beautiful, like the Cassies of the world, the Donna Lees of the world, and they think that's all that matters. And that can get them anything they want. They can reach the top with that, and they don't look to anything else. You know, because I'm beautiful, because I'm pretty, I can do anything that I want. I can reach any heights that I want, any way that I want. And what is happening with them is that some men, and some of them, they focus on that alone, and they think that can get them anything that they want, and they wind up getting hurt, and they wind up getting run through, and they wind up getting, they don't know their value, they don't know their
used
worth.
up.
Yes, and they wind up getting used up. And a lot of it's nice to be beautiful, it's nice to be pretty, it's all of that, but you also have to have some substance behind it, and you also have to have standards. And you also have to understand that that's not the only thing that matters in this world.
Is your prettiness.
Yes. And my beauty can get me anything that I want, but your beauty can also get you destroyed.
True. So in this particular case now, how do you apply this? You think that Donna Lee was one of those girls?
Yes.
You do?
I think she was she's one of those girls. Cassie is one of those girls, and also with being pretty like that, there's a lot of insecurities that come with it, because you're always seen as pretty, and you can't show yourself any other way than being pretty. You understand what I'm saying? And that's all you have to rely on. You don't have anything else to rely on.
I never really thought of that way.
And the thing is, and most of the time they don't have anybody. You feel like how you're looking at people and you tell them every day. They didn't have anybody to tell them that every day, to reinforce that in them, that not only are you beautiful, but you have to be smart. You have to be, you have, okay. I'm going to tell you a story. I go to Jamaica, and my grandfather used to look at me and tell me, say, you can't be a pretty dunce. Because I'm going to tell you this, even if you go to war, you have to know for money, because man will push the money. You understand what I'm saying? So in my head, and I was young, like how you talk about your grandparents and the things that they used to say to you.
Right.
I have grandparents like that. And the thing is, my grandfather used to tell me that we couldn't get the concept. We couldn't get when it's going to talk about war, pretty done. We couldn't understand enough. But you see, as I got older,
right,
and people started telling me outside of my family that I was pretty, I knew that I couldn't rely on that alone. I had to get an education. I had to be self-sufficient. I had to have other things. I had to be able to think and understand that don't let anybody walk over you because they put you in this case as a porcelain doll. Because porcelain dolls break. Porcelain dolls are the most fragile dolls.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we live in a dolly culture.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, that could have only came from a female angle, because we couldn't see that one there.
Yeah, and I won't check that beating me down for it, but I'm telling you, a lot of I see it. I've seen it in my years. I see it where yes, it's good to be beautiful. It's good to have the nice shape. But you cannot let that be your only standard in life, because it was okay.
But that is in hindsight, though, because looking at okay, may I have to interject? Looking at Donna Lee, right?
Yeah.
I find that to be like kind of judgmental, because for me, I look at the world like the world has changed, right? So there are young ladies who they might not want to go your traditional route, like go get an education because XYZ. They might be looking at exploiting this prettiness you speak of. Whereas I can be a influencer and pick up contracts for different makeup companies or clothing lines, and my sponsors can actually bring in more income than somebody in my age group with a bachelor's or a master's degree. So I just think she aspired for other things. I don't really think she did just one of them who feel like our prettiness, everything hinged on her prettiness. So that's why I said I could have never said what you just said.
Okay.
But
I'm just telling you, food for thought.
But
there are a lot of women
right
out there that think that way, that they believe that because and especially with the influencer culture now, that's what they're teaching. Find a sugar daddy. Even though I have my own, it kind of introduces a sense of greediness to it. So find a sugar daddy. Have someone take care of you. Find other alternatives other than relying on yourself. And sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out the way they think. And they have this fantasy in their mind that I am Barbie. So Ken is always gonna be good, since Ken is always gonna take care of me, and it's not every Ken that's that Ken. You understand what I'm saying?
True. Let me ask you this. In this case, in Donna Lee's case, what do you think happened?
I think that something happened to her in that apartment that was devastating. I believe that there are lots of things that she did not tell her mother because she could not tell her mother because her mother taught her different. I think her mother did a good job. I think that she got destroyed in that apartment, and I also believe that it could have been a pregnancy situation. it could have been something where, you know, there was pushing and hitting and things in the relationship, but this went too far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry that she's gone. And let me see what else I think about it. It could just be a situation where things went really fast, got out of control, and this is how she did it. And it's not, it's a sad way, it's a bad way to go. And then her mother has no peace with it.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things that even though we love our moms and things like that, we don't really go and tell our mom every single thing.
You think she had secrets that she didn't tell her mother?
There's things that she didn't tell. And another thing is, now that they're mentioning the passport, look at Maitland's lifestyle. Was she doing things for, like how, was she doing things for him that she shouldn't have been doing? Was she flying to other islands doing things for him that she should not have been doing? So like, he gave me a package and I'm delivering the package. Where her mother, so she would go away for days at a time.
Right.
So maybe she was, some men have, when they have women and they have multiple women, you have the party girl. My party girl Cassie will go to ends of the earth.
Because her mom said she would do deliveries about 3 times a week or so, right?
Okie dokie.
Right, and I'm like, what was she delivering 3 times a week?
Yeah, where you deliver? You're near man?
Yeah, what she had delivered 3 times a week.
Your Jamaica Postal Service, UPS, Prime, Amazon. And these girls and these guys use that. They will tell that, the pretty, you need the world to me, you love you. All right, David, come to this to me. Then it's the same thing that Cassie caught up. The love bombing. And they
Audrey said the caller gone too far.
All right.
The caller did go a little bit. The caller went a little bit off course there when she talked, but put it back in perspective. I don't think she gone too far with this right now. So, cause me want to know too what she was delivering 3 days a week. Because listen, there's a world that you might not be able to understand. Okay, running packages. We talking about scammer money. We are talking about dope, coke, ganja, whatever is illegal. These kind of things. Molly. Who's moving the stuff about? Some man use a girl to do it. Sometimes, girls run off with the package, stifling off some of the money, open the package when they wasn't supposed to. Like we're looking at hypotheticals. Just like how we looked at, well, maybe she was pregnant and she decided to keep it, and him decide to say, no, want her have no baby for him, and they got in a fight over that. I see Lulu.
And she gave him an ultimatum.
Right.
If you don't have this baby, I'm gonna tell everything you want.
Could be anything. But I won't put it past. I won't put it past what you said earlier about drop off a package, and was she doing stuff for him other than? Remember, said Noel was also in the entertainment industry as well, right?
Exactly, and we know what goes with that.
All right.
So just a thought, just my thought. I mean,
yeah. You make a valid point. Don't feel no way about it. Some people.
No, man.
Yeah, you make a valid point, man. Which have me really thinking now. I want to know though, if that comment that Mr. Townsend made, that the attorney made, I want to know where he got that information from. This case to me, is open and shut. Noel is guilty. Period. Unless he can explain where she went, how come 7 cameras did not pick her up coming out, but they picked her up going in. He's the one that's responsible for her disappearance. The cameras also didn't pick anybody else up going in that time frame. So it's only him. And it showed him and her entering and only him exiting. So we know it's only him. Him can't explain that, or him. But me just want to know the why.
After he went into that apartment and closed the door with him and her behind those doors. He never came back out.
Right. Right.
And when she came back out, she was not walking the way she walked in. She didn't leave the way she came.
No.
She didn't leave a whole person. She went a whole person, but she came out a bloody mess.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah. And the evidence shows.
Yeah, the circumstantial stuff shows.
Right.
The thing is, we don't have the concrete.
The video shows.
Yeah,
the video is concrete to me. The video shows. So? Yes, that is concrete. I don't know why people like try and mix up stuff. Well, this is circumstantial. Me now listen to them, you know. To me, a video is as concrete as it gets. The video, the CCTV from 7 different cameras shows she did not come out of that apartment walking. Only thing we see come out was a couch. And the timing of the couch coming out is super funny. But a video shows, and we can depend on that footage to say she didn't. Even if they were going to say one camera and the one camera mess up, they can't say 7 different cameras messed up.
I understand. My thing for the concrete is there no. So in my mind, I understand your concrete, and you're absolutely right, because the camera did not pick her up leaving. So that's concrete. But the ultimate.
Crystal G said she had her own business and she was selling merchandise and she delivers too. What was the merchandise that she was selling? What was her business about?
So I'm gonna let you get back to it.
All right, my friend.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, everybody.
You too.
Friday.
All right now.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. So listen, we're gonna end this video too, right?